Hi everyone and welcome to Unit Review. We're your hosts, Jack
and Dan.
Today we're going to be talking about a little kind of guy, a little model, a little Royal Warden.
Yeah, a little cool guy sometimes gets overlooked. And there's a discussion about, is he worth taking in some circumstances, or is it like the sunk cost fallacy? Are you just throwing good points after bad?
Yeah, that's very true.
Let's get into it and find out.
Certainly, Dan. You want to start off with the stat block?
Yeah, stats are looking pretty smart. He's got a movement of 5, he's toughness of 5, he's got a 3-up save, 4 wounds, leadership of 6, and an OC of 1. Yeah. So nothing out, nothing bad, but nothing great. Yeah. Nothing pops out there.
That's it. He's just one of those kind of standard little side characters, really, isn't he? Yeah. So, not too bad at all. Well, moving on to the unit composition side of things, he is obviously one model by himself. He is equipped with the Relic Gauss Blaster. Pretty cool name, if I do say so myself.
Yes.
But he only costs 40 points.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get interesting.
It's not bad at all. Yeah, really cheap. So, a lot of what's it, versatility or utility?
Utility, yeah.
Utility, that's the one.
I like utility, though. Let's start using that, yeah.
I'll make it up. Let's go for it. What about keywords, Dan?
So obviously he's got Necrons, he's got Royal Warden, he's got infantry and character. So again, very straightforward there. Nothing too
fancy on that one. Yeah,
nothing to worry about.
Cool. Weapon side of things then. So like I say, he's got the Relic Gauss Blaster.
Yeah, this is all right, isn't it?
It's not bad at all. I do like the weapon, and again, I really like the name. Yeah. But yes, so this weapon, it has lethal hits and rapid fire too. So not too bad. Very standard for Necrons. It has a range of 24, 2 attacks, hitting on freeze, strength 5, -1 AP, and 2 damage.
Tasty.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. He has a combat profile as well, which is a close combat weapon. It has 4 attacks, hitting on freeze, strength 5, 0 AP, and 1 damage. So typically, I would honestly say whenever I read that kind of stat block for a weapon profile, I'd be like, oh, don't get him in combat. If you get him in combat, he's going to struggle. But we'll get on to why. You might want him in combat later.
Yeah, because he might not struggle so much.
No, not at all. So, abilities, Dan, you want to take one from that one?
Yeah, now this is where it gets interesting. So, the first one is Engrammatic Logic. Once per battle at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Necrons unit that is battle-shocked and within 12 inches of this model, so it doesn't have to be the unit it's leading. Yeah, and that unit is no longer battle-shocked.
It's really good. Especially in I've now came across a lot of instances where like demons, for example, they can like force a battle shock, or like Drakari force battle shocks and such. So that extra, I guess, save, if you will, is always really handy, I would say. Yeah,
it really is. It can come in clutch if you need to use stratagems on that unit, or you're trying to hold a point, score some points, etc. So your opponent goes, "You're battle shocked," and you go, "No, I'm not."
Absolutely not. Get out of here.
Yeah, and what it's a handy ability. Just try and remember it. Remember that you've got it in your back pocket.
That's another thing. Yeah, remembering you've got this little extra ability.
Nice. But that's not all. Ooh. He's also got adaptive strategy, and this is where he really shines. So this model's unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back.
That's nice.
Yes.
See, that is good.
Yeah, we'll come on to a bit more. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail, but that is it's a unique ability in Necron Codex as far as I can remember.
It is.
And it can be really powerful.
It's quite rare out there, I would say. Not a lot of units outside of the Necrons themselves have that.
Yeah, the Space Marines get it from one of the doctrines, I think, don't they?
And that's for one turn.
Yeah, for one turn, yeah.
So having this constantly, you could have 3 of them, 3 units doing this. Pretty nice, not too bad. Obviously, it is the protocol of the animations as well.
Yeah, it obviously gets the faction ability reanimation protocol. So at the end of the combat phase, reanimate D3 wounds back to the unit. So as we would expect.
Yeah, not bad at all. Moving on to what can they lead? So only 2 units on this one. So this leader can basically be inside of the Immortals and the Necrons units. So
Necron warriors are as you'd expect. And again, we'll come on to that, but there's probably you can use him with Immortals, but I would expect to see him with Warrior Blobs.
Yeah. There's some comments basically promoting both at the end of the day.
Yes.
So it's good. We'll talk more on kind of why, because both of them are good in different situations. I've got some good examples of when when both have just destroyed us.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them more in a second there.
Good.
But first of all, Dan, stratagems. You want to start off the first one?
Yes. So the first one is Royal Wardens do work very well in the Awakened Dynasty, and this is one of their strats, which is Protocol of the Eternal Revenant. This will be familiar to Necron players because this is the Chumbawamba one. You get knocked down, you stand up back up again.
Exactly.
So it's an epic heroic deed. You can use it in any phase. Just after a Necron infantry character model has been destroyed, and you can use this stratagem on that model, even though it was just destroyed. And the effect is, at the end of the phase, the model stands back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, but not within engagement range of any enemy units, and it gets half of its starting number of wounds back. So in his case, it's 2.
Yeah.
You can only target each character model with this stratagem once per game. Obviously, which it would be insane if you could do it more than once. Yeah,
it's true. The stratagem itself, 1 CP from bringing back this HQ is really good. I mean, obviously that stratagem can be applied to all of our HQs that we've got, but it's just really nice to have this, especially if like you get targeted. I think we'll talk later about like how to take this unit out, but it's good to bring it back if you really need them for later on.
Yes.
Aye.
Good.
Very nice. The next one is the Protocol of the Undying Legions.
Yes.
So this is in the Awakened Dynasty for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase, just after an enemy unit has resolved all of its attacks, you target 1 Necron's unit from your army that has had 1 or more models destroyed as a result of the attacking's unit. The unit's attacks. The effect is you can reactivate its reanimation protocols.
Nice.
And you reanimate D3 plus 1 number of wounds if your Necron character is leading it. This one isn't directly tied to the Royal Warden, but since he's a HQ, he's a character, that extra 1 wound is really useful, especially on 1 wound model blobs like warriors and mortals.
Yeah.
It's really useful for that one.
Good.
Very nice. Well, they're kind of all of the stat blocks and stratagems that we probably recommend, but how do you combine that and how to best play this unit?
Yes. I think stacked is a good way to describe this one. But just to pair him, you can pair him with a Plasmancer.
Yeah.
And what that does is it gives you fallback shoot and charge.
Yeah.
And if they've got the Arisen Tyrant enhancement for 25 points, that gives a unit re-rolls of 1. And this pairs quite nicely with Hypercrypt Legion, because if a unit came in from Deep Strike, you just get to re-roll the hit rolls instead. It's not just rolls of 1.
And that's what you'll typically be doing. You'll be picking up this kind of blob. You'll have like the Plasmancer, the Royal Warden, a squad of 10 Immortals. And again, you can kind of maybe combo the Immortals with maybe the Tesla Carbine, probably, which basically has Sustain 2. So you basically be picking them up every single turn, shooting them with the 24-inch range, getting loads of attacks through. Now, they are no AP, but they have 1 damage, so I'd probably be using those ones against chaff units.
Yeah.
Probably like a blob of orcs or like small Eldar, Drakari.
The Plasmancer gives you lethals on crits on 5, so you're getting your sustain 2 on 5s. So you can use it with the Gauss versions, because you can put a lot of lethals onto a unit. You've come a cropper with that with your knights, haven't you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next. So again, you can either field the Royal Warden with the Immortals, or if you go on the other side, the Warriors bring 20 warriors with obviously the Gauss Reaper, which is the -1 damage.
Yes.
Again with lethals hitting on. Hitting on 5s?
Yes, lethals on 5s, yeah.
It went against one of my knights, or I've done it against knights before, and you're basically a blob of 20 warriors is taking down those knights 1 at a time every turn.
Yes.
It's scary for the knight player. You don't want to be in that situation. But the usefulness about it is that when you've tagged with the Royal Warden, if again with the Hypercrypt, you'll be teleporting around, and you'll be, you want to maximize getting as many shots off as possible.
Yes.
So when you're teleporting around, you will be probably putting yourself in those really awkward spaces. So dropping down, shooting at a knight, and let's say you don't take out the knight, and the knight charges you. Well, again, you've got the reanimation going to be kicking in. You've got the stratagem to be the Protocol of the Undying to kick that in as well, and then come your turn, you'll fall back with the Royal Warden, shoot and probably take out what was left of that knight, and then be safe to then.
Yeah, that's it. I think if you're running them in Awakened Dynasty, your warriors need to be durable and resilient, and the ability to fall back out of combat and shoot is massive, because getting tied. That's the biggest weakness for warriors, is probably getting tied up. So you lose that round of shooting. Yeah. So it is huge. And then if, like you said, if you're in Awakened, you then get those reanimation strats to add to that resilience. If you're in Hypercrypt, it's more about getting that damage in, isn't it? And then if you don't pop something, the ability to get out of combat and then hit them again.
It's so good, because then you think about it, if you're falling back these guys, and these guys can still shoot and do all that sort of stuff, they can probably still do actions as well.
Yes.
Which is great for secondaries, but alongside that, other units are then able to shoot into that unit you just fell back from to then maximize getting as many things out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the secondaries thing, whether you can do them if you fall back, but the damage, the damage output is serious, isn't it?
Yeah, well, since in actions you do it in your shooting phase when you fall back, you can then do an action as long as you're eligible to do an action.
Right, excellent.
Yeah. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm sure I'm right. I'm watching everyone.
That's pretty powerful. If that's true, that's pretty powerful. Like really powerful.
Again, it's one of those things that a lot of people sleep on. To be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
For
definitely.
40 points, not too bad. Not too bad.
Yes.
But I think that's it for that one, because that one's quite good. It's quite stacked. The next one, sneaky.
Yes.
Kind of called this one. So a couple of people have mentioned this one in the comments that we posted online. So thank you so much for all the comments that you've posted.
Yeah, I got loads of engagement. Thank you.
Yeah. But this one is basically in the Hypercrypt Legion. You have basically, with being such a cheap unit, you kind of don't really care too much about this guy, basically. But if you give it one of the enhancements for Dimensional Overseer, you can put an extra unit in the hyperphasing rule.
Yes.
So instead of having up to 3 units going into hyperphasing, you have up to 4.
Yeah.
And that's only an extra 25 points, which is pretty good. And I would primarily, you can bring like 3 Royal Wardens and use them as like kind of like behind enemy lines, or like
little action
sabotage.
monkeys.
Exactly. Just kind of just teleporting them around the board to do these actions. Because again, for 40 points, that's not too bad.
So you've got your alternative is the only way to do it cheaper for an action monkey is 30 points for a Locust Destroyer.
So that one, Locust Destroyer. Oh, yes, Locust Destroyer. Yes. I was getting confused with the Hexmark Destroyer.
Yeah, the Hexmark's a bit more expensive, but it does have deep strike, I think, doesn't it? Which gives you a little bit more flexibility. But generally speaking, I think 40 points for an action monkey that's easier to hide than a destroyer. And has got still got quite a bit of punch in terms of its weapon if needs be. It's pretty useful. I think.
Not bad. It's not bad to get around the board.
And I mean, would you rather spend 40 points on one of these little fellas or on 3 scarabs? It's no contest, is it anymore?
It's not. See, back in the day, like a good few months ago, I would have been like scarabs, 100% scarabs. But now with no OC, there's just no need to bring them. It's just such a shame to see the models disappear.
Very good value, this guy. For me, I think he's got to be an auto-include if you're playing blobs of warriors.
Yes.
Because the alternative is an overlord, but we'll give them a bit of punch to hit back in melee, but not enough to delete a unit that's tying you up.
Correct.
So this is a better bet for me. Yeah,
because if you either misplay or your opponent was whatever, if you're first knocked and you get them in combat, that's what it's like 240 points. Gone.
If you've got characters in there, you're probably looking at about a sixth of your army, north of the 300 point mark. Yeah. So if the ability to losing that for that unit's effectiveness for a turn is bad.
It's bad. It's not good. It's not good. So I guess on the flip side then, how to fight against this unit?
Yes.
I guess for me, take it out.
Take
100%,
out the unit.
Mate. It's not a tough unit. It's not. When it's in the blob of warriors, you kind of think, oh, I'm safe, yada yada. But I think we both kind of agree off camera that it was like, right, well, anything with precision is just going to take out this unit so easily.
Yeah, precision is really powerful against Necrons because there's a bunch of characters, and this guy's one of them. There's he's T5, but he's got no invuln. He's got a 3-up save. So if you can snipe him out with precision shooting, that's great. Or obviously if you get in melee, you can use the stratagem, can't you?
Yeah. Epic Deed for one.
Epic Challenge.
I always get one confused.
Yes.
Epic Challenge for 1 CP.
Yeah.
But that is only on combat. But again, these guys will typically be getting themselves in combat because they want to maximize everything they've got. They want to shoot, they want to charge, and then in their turn fall back and shoot and do the same thing again.
Yeah, so I mean, everything that we've just talked about there is the strategy with these to put them in a 20 warrior blob is basically come at me, bro, isn't it? Because you're like, well, if you charge me, I'm just going to fall back and then I'm going to delete you. Yeah. But if you can take him out in that charge, happy days.
It's not for us, not for us Necron players out there, but it's happy days for the opponent.
Aye. And you made a really good point here in terms of secondaries as well. Is that they give up points for secondaries, don't they?
They do. So obviously the kind of tactic of bringing 3 of them to do the hyperphasing thing and kind of do secondary actions. Then it's kind of like, right, well, if your opponent sees this and you've got 3 of those, these won't be your only 3 characters. You will have other characters in there, a few overloads. So the assassination starts to look a bit tempting.
Yes, fix secondaries. Yeah.
So do be careful if you are going to bring these. Consider, yes, there will be action monkeys, but they are characters, so they will farm points for the opponent.
For assassinate.
So
that's
very
a very good point.
Yes.
Yes, but overall, I think if you like taking warriors, he for me is ahead. He's the character that I would have leading that unit 100%.
If you're looking for a bit of extra punch, yes, because you want to maximise your blob as much as you can.
Yeah, you're probably whacking a Chronomancer or a Technomancer in there as well for defensive capabilities. Or if you are going gung-ho with them, then it's the Plasmancer for the crits on 5s.
Crits on 5s, incredible.
But yeah, he's definitely ahead of the Overlord for me in terms of trying to keep those warriors useful, getting the most value out of that big point sink.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah,
it's very true. Because typically with like a 10 Immortals, the Res Orb typically won't really save them. If I'm honest, it'll probably just unless they if they get charged, they're gonna probably drop.
See,
fast.
I was going to ask you about this because for me, for Immortals, they're not quite fire and forget, but I'm not trying to make them survive because I think typically if their job, because they're a lot cheaper than a big blob of warriors,
they are.
So their job is to get eyes on something, kill it, and then if they die, as long as they've traded well, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
The resilience, I think, for me, is more about the warriors because warriors. For the points cost of warriors, they're not quite resilient enough. And this guy, I think he maybe gets them to where they need to be or close to where they need to be anyway. So for me, he's points well spent for warriors. I'm not so sure about Immortals.
See, it's hard because you don't really want Immortals up in the face because they've got 24-inch range. So why would you want them up close? It's really only for that like maybe defensive profile. Maybe keeping like Immortals on your backfield. Your home objective, shooting for 24, and then let's say they get deep strike and they get charged. Right, well, you've still got that flexibility of falling back, shooting. So again, for 1 CP, not 1 CP, for a free ability to fall back
free
and
ability
shoot.
for 40 points isn't that bad,
It might just turn the tide at the back end. But
that's a really good point.
But apart from that, I do agree though. Apart from that specific scenario, not a lot of play in terms of getting them up forward.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. I mean, as Jack said, we had a fantastic engagement for you guys when we asked a question about how you use the Royal Warden. It's probably one of the best we've ever had, actually. So you were divided. Some of you do use them with Immortals, so I'm really interested to hear a bit more about that.
Maybe a poll. On YouTube to see who's is who.
Yeah,
we'll have a little look. See, everyone go vote. It'll be probably released on Wednesday when we release the video.
Yes.
So we'll do Wednesday. Get the votes in, and we'll see who wins.
Good. And thank you again for all your engagement. We'll list your names on the screen now. And if you've enjoyed this video, go and check out our backlog of fantastic unit reviews. We've done quite a few of the Necron units, and we're going to carry on doing the rest, aren't we?
Certainly are.
And then we'll be back next week. Thank you.
Thanks so much.